Good evening, David.
It's Thursday, it's 8 o'clock, and it's the Big Detecting Show. Good evening, Adrian. How are you all?
I'm tickety-boo. How's your foot?
Yes, about that. I've got like this, what can I say, this black dead thing attached to me foot.
Yeah, you ran it over.
I ran over myself, yes, and ended up in hospital somewhat.
Oh,
but
dear.
What's worse than that, Adrian, I tried 3 hospitals and none of them had a time scale less than 5 hours for be able to be x-rayed, so I've not been x-rayed.
Yeah, it's very bad at the moment.
The show was more important.
Well, and we're giving away a legend metal detector from Nokta Makro tonight.
We're not giving away a Nokta Makro.
No, we're not giving away a legend. Nokta Makro.
That nice lady there's giving one away.
Oh, Dilek, yeah, she is. So welcome to everyone who's joined tonight. There's a lot of people there.
Masses and masses. I can't even catch up. I can't even read through the comments because there's like 280 million of them. Yeah. Well, hello everybody. It's a pleasure to have you all with us tonight. For those of you who haven't joined us before, welcome to the Big Detecting Show. We don't bite. We like cake. I like cake. And we talk about metal detecting and other things related to the archaeological world, somewhat.
Yes.
And guests from throughout the world.
Yes. Every Thursday, 8 p.m. GMT time, UK time, that is. So welcome to people who've actually stayed up, got up early in the morning, wherever you are in the world. And later on, we'll have the free prize draw.
Talking to people who have stayed up in the world, Japanese treasure hunters who joined us a few months ago are now Guam treasure hunters for a few years.
Oh, Guam treasure.
Which is quite mental, isn't it? They've moved over to Guam with work. And this week, Adrian has seen the return of Time Team, and what a return it was. Absolutely loved it. I've watched it twice.
Oh, because you told me to watch it, didn't you?
I did.
And I forgot. Sorry.
I watched it twice. It's on the Archaeology and Metal. It's on YouTube, but we've put them all combined on a post on archmdmag.com. But absolutely brilliant. And the kudos they give to metal detectorists throughout was fantastic. In fact, one of their main finds throughout the weekend. Because how they filmed it, Adrian, it's great. Where in the past you've had 3 days over one episode, this was 3 episodes. So it was 3 half-hour episodes. Day 1, day 2, day 3. And it worked brilliantly. I was unsure of the new hosts on the first episode, but he was great, and the ladies just got my sarcasm down to a T, so we liked the...
Nice.
Anyway, without further ado, let's move this ship along somewhat, because we've got some brilliant guests tonight. People will be dying to speak and hear from her. And we've also got that lovely chap from LP, Mr. Pete Terrell, with us as well. So without further ado, welcome to the show, Dilek and Pete from LP. How are you both?
Hello. Hi, guys.
Very well.
Hiya. All right.
How are you?
Marvellous.
I'm fine. Dave's got a bad foot.
I ran over myself with a ton of things in work today, and I ended up in hospital. So I've got a black toe. I'm off metal detecting for a few weeks, I think.
I'm sorry to hear that. I hope you feel better soon.
Oh, I'll be fine. I could get into an X-ray because the waiting time's so long, so I had a bag of frozen peas on instead. So all's good. Bit of gaffer tape.
How did you manage to do it, Dave? We need a story.
Right, so I work on the paint line at JCB, and where I work are all the oversized rams, the ones that you see on the outside of the diggers, and they're all in trolleys, and there was a lot around, and it wasn't very tidy at that point of the morning, and I was going for a meeting at 8 o'clock, so I was trying to get the area tidy and able for the people who were working there who don't normally work there to work safely and whatnot, and ran over myself.
You need to raise that with the union rep, Dave.
I do.
Who is it?
It's me.
Oh, you silly man.
Hey, we've got our first question here tonight. The Dark Knight Detectorist, he asks, does Dilek ever not smile? Every time he sees her, she's smiling.
That's not true. I think this person has never seen some of my live shows.
I can vouch that Dilek doesn't always smile.
I won't mention any names of people. But Dilek, you've just got in from work, haven't you?
Yeah, like an hour ago.
And what time is it in Turkey?
Right now, 10 past 11.
So that is devotion, and that is hats off to you.
Thank you.
You wouldn't get that in England. We'd be out of work by 6.
Whoa. Pete's still in work now. Pete's still there.
Yeah, exactly. I've been working here all day, so technically I've not even left yet.
He's got his staff top on, so
yeah, exactly.
He's at work.
Yeah.
Have you got trousers on, Pete?
Yeah.
No,
I have.
So like Gary Cook came on wearing pajamas, which was quite shocking.
No.
He's a weirdo though, so it doesn't matter really.
Yeah,
he's a Tottenham fan at the end of the day, so he's obviously odd. Anyway, Pete, are you well?
I'm very well, thank you. Yeah, no, very well. Busy.
Good.
But yeah, no, it's good. Yeah.
And in both your lines of work, it's good to be busy.
Absolutely, busy's good. Busy pays the bills. Yeah,
definitely.
So, Dilek, We'll come to you
Yes.
first.
Thank you.
How long now is it since the legend has actually been on the shops, on the shelves? Sorry, on the shops.
Well,
on
on the shelves, I don't know, but it's gonna be, I think, a month. I think almost a month that we started shipping.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so in the UK,
I don't know. You know
last-
what? I'm losing track of time. I've
last
been.
week.
What's that?
In the UK, it was last week.
Well, for UK, I'm talking about like in general, worldwide.
And
So
how many countries do you supply to, Dilek? Because it's
a lot,
isn't it?
a lot.
It's 11:10 at night, Adrian. You can't ask that question and get a definitive answer.
It's North America, South America, all Europe, you know, Asia, everywhere, basically.
What's the remotest place in the world you ship to, out of interest?
Remotest for us would be probably like New Zealand.
Wow. Cool.
Yeah, Australia, New Zealand. I don't know.
Essex.
There's a guy in Japan that uses them.
What's that?
There's a guy in Japan that uses Nokta Makro.
Japan?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Japan too.
But the UK is very, very big. So yeah, we got it last week. So Pete, have you seen a lot of sales, I presume, on the Legend? Because everyone's talking
literally,
about it.
It was a case of as soon as they landed in our warehouse, it was turning it around to get all the stock to the other dealers. And then the few that we had left sold out, I think within half an hour of us putting it on the website on launch day. And then the second batch went on sale this week. That was all the Pro packs, a few WHPs, but mainly Pro packs. And same again, they sold extremely quickly. So yeah, a lot of demand out there for them for sure.
He's waiting for his next shipment. That's what he's trying to say.
Absolutely. I keep reminding that we have none.
That's obviously a fantastic thing. If they're going off the shelves that quick, worldwide, obviously there's something right there.
Yeah, well, it's a good product, Dave. It's a mixture of it being a very good product at a really good price as well. I know Adrian's had one delivered to him and he's got some first impressions, but yeah, it's an exceptionally good machine and yeah, aggressively priced as well.
I think interesting you say that, Pete, because on pricing, it doesn't affect the quality. And I'll tell you the difference between the UK and other countries. I did a price comparison out of interest today. And if you were buying a pack of Marlboro cigarettes in Turkey, it's €4. In the UK, it's €12. If you were buying a dozen eggs in Turkey, it's €1.90. In the UK, it's £3.50. And a loaf of bread, €50. UK, £1.30 or something. And there's all these, and there's the labour costs. Labour's a lot cheaper in Turkey as well. So all these bits, and Nokta Makro, you do a lot in-house. You do nearly everything. You do your injection molding in-house, don't you? You CAD design.
Well, not in the factory where we are, but yeah, everything is made, in Turkey. And like even the like the cases, well, the Legend doesn't have a case, but just to give you an example, let's say any case that we ship with our detectors, they're all like made at our factory. So yeah, most of it is done in Turkey.
Yeah. See, if the Legend was made in the UK, it'd probably be about £2,500, and it'd take 3 weeks to get delivered. But yeah.
But Adrian, I must say this. I want to clarify. It's true what you're saying. Of course, the labor in Turkey, compared to UK, of course, it's cheaper, definitely. But then again, it's also our company strategy. It's not just because our labor is cheap that we can offer these detectors at these prices. It's the fact that our company's strategy, we're not trying to maximize profit. That's like the biggest part of it. Okay, so And we promised our customers long time ago that we're going to try to offer the best products at the best prices. That was our promise to our customers. That's what we're trying to achieve. To be honest with you, since the day we announced the Legend, actually our material cost, now don't forget, labor is cheap in Turkey, but our materials cost, component costs have extremely gone up. So normally, if it was another manufacturer, they would have raised their prices already, but we are trying to, tolerate, okay, and we're accepting less and less profit just to be able to keep the prices we promised to our customers. So it's really our, company's strategy as well.
It's interesting you raised that, because with COVID and Third World War potentially around the corner, fingers crossed not, material costs have gone up, oil costs, and you use a lot of plastic in your products, which contains oil. So I did wonder, before you launched the Legend, all this sort of wasn't as it is now. So you must, like you say, you've absorbed those costs and kept the price low or competitive. So very competitive.
Well, the biggest challenge, and I suppose cost issues since COVID, has really been shipping, hasn't it, Dilek? Because overnight we saw shipping like quadruple in price.
Exactly. Like, just to give you an example, like 2 years ago, okay, when I sent a container to, let's say, US on a ship, it would cost me around, let's say, $4,000. Well, actually even less than that, okay? Now we're paying more than $12,000.
Wow.
Oh yeah. And on some regions, like the difference is even more. It's like 3-4 times more. But so it's not really easy for a manufacturer to keep up with the shipping costs, component costs. And don't forget, guys, not everybody is aware, but the chip crisis is still ongoing in the world.
The chip crisis I've seen firsthand. There's one where I work, a certain ECU, comes from America, costs 60 cents. Because they can't get any, it's going through brokers at $6,000. So I can see that firsthand.
Yeah. Like every time we order components, something that costs, let's say, normally $1 can cost $5, $6. I mean, it's just ridiculous. So, I mean, we're trying our best to keep the prices, as they are. But, I mean, I don't blame anybody or any manufacturer that's raising them either.
Apart from the material increases, Dilek, what on the Legend would you say was the biggest challenge for you? Was it the design? Was it the software? Was it the name? What was the something at Nokta Makro which you really all were sort of struggling to get done or finalized? Was it a deadline? What did you find?
I can answer this one.
Go ahead.
It's the design change, the control box. This product was actually technically ready to launch, what would you say, Dilek, 6 months ago, perhaps?
Well, last summer.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. And there was some final changes based on, well, it was tester feedback, wasn't it, Dilek?
Was that?
So in-house testing, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was the in-house testing. So the product came out to be heavier than, desired. So basically, normally where we have that, like at the back behind the armrest, where that rail is, where we put the optional battery now, okay? The actual battery was going to go on there originally.
Ah, right.
So in the original design, okay, there was no internal battery. It was going to be, in the original design, there was no internal battery. The battery would be placed behind the armrest, where the optional one is going in right now. But when we got done with everything and got the actual prototype in our hand, the weight wasn't acceptable. So we were debating. I even checked with some of the distributors, the stat, and what should we do. And we decided to change the design, put the battery back inside. So that was the major change. That was the first major change we did that delayed the Legend. But then again, once we announced the product in November, and I don't know if you can call this a mistake, but the date, the expected shipping date we gave, was taken as a promise by many users. So we said we're hoping to start shipments in December, okay? And everybody took that as a December shipment, like a certain date. And then once we sent this unit to many people around the world, we got some feedbacks, and they were great feedbacks. We said, you know what, it's worth to, delay it maybe a month or two, whatever, and, just make these changes. And those changes, some of them were also major changes, like some component changes we had to make, okay, based on those feedbacks. So it was this whole, delay, and me trying to explain to people honestly, okay, what was going on. And then and in return, all this, attack, and bashing. I think that was really for me, that was the hardest part, toughest part, but I think I did a good job, handling it.
Well, I don't think it's going to affect the sales. The reason I ask is someone's just mentioned in the chat about the shaft. What is there wobble on it and stuff? And I can say it's carbon fiber now, and that is strong, very strong, and it slides in. You've got a sort of laminate. It's very smooth, and that slots in it really well. Some machines are like a matte finish. This is like a gloss finish, and that I really like that side of it. Was that originally part of the design, having a carbon fiber lower shaft?
Oh yeah, that was right from the beginning. It was one of the the project inputs, that it was going to have a lower carbon fiber shaft.
Yeah.
So Adrian, that carbon lower that you've got there is actually the one from the Simplex. So on the Simplex, you can have it as an optional extra. With the Legend, it just comes included. So there'll be people in the chat that have got a Simplex but are using that shaft.
Yeah, actually, I must mention that there's so many things common with the Simplex, because basically it's almost the same housing. So of course you cannot, the coils are not interchangeable, but anything else, like the when I say headphones, I'm not talking about the wireless headphones, but any other headphones, the wired headphones we have, optional headphones, waterproof headphones, all the shaft, they're all, come with the Simplex. And I must also mention that we have, because I saw a few people ask about this, so I want to mention this here too. We also have a longer middle shaft available, for the Simplex as well as for the Legend, of course, because some taller people think that the extended length is not enough for them. So there are many parts common with the Simplex.
And it's not that much heavier than Simplex, is it?
No, they're almost the same.
Yeah, literally, which is pretty amazing, considering the machine. I think it's like 0.1 of a kilogram or something heavier, isn't it? It's not a lot in it.
I think it's
Yeah.
Well, do you know what? Between myself and Adrian tonight, I think we've got the most questions that we've ever had sent in by different people as well. So we'll be jumping.
Go ahead.
Here, there, and everywhere with them tonight, because there are so many. One of the questions I wanted to raise, Dilek.
Sure.
7 years ago, my first relationship with yourself started at Nokta Makro, and you didn't really have a big footprint. And obviously, over the last 5, 6, 7 years, that's got bigger and bigger and bigger. What was the catalyst for that? How did it come about that that Nokta Makro went from being both Nokta and Makro, and obviously joining back together. It all seems to stem from yourself, obviously, your passion, your energy. You seem to have brought to us, the people who obviously see Nokta Makro, it seems to be yourself who's brought that catalyst about. And where did that all come from?
Well, I cannot really say it's all me. Pete is pointing at himself. Well, I mean, obviously it's a team effort, but do I play a big role in it? Yes, I do. And it's my passion because to me, Nokta Makro, okay, it's not a job. And I always say this, Nokta Makro, the brand, is my child. That's how I look at it. Like I even said this to the owner of the company one day. We were arguing about something and I go to him, hey, this may be your company, but the brand is mine. Because when I like joined this company, nobody in the world had heard about Nokta. Okay, we were not even into hobby detectors at that time. But slowly, as we got into the hobby side of the business, I took the brand and it was a baby. Now it's an adult. That's how I look at it. So I personally put a lot of time and effort into the brand. That's why I get so passionate about it. I mean, think about it. Think about people talking about your child. I mean, or like saying something bad about your child or saying something good about your child. How would you feel? That's the feeling I get. When somebody praises Nokta Makro, I feel so proud. When somebody starts bashing Nokta Makro, I get upset. And and time to time I may get defensive, because it's just not a job. But as a team, the whole team at Nokta Makro, especially the people who have been there like very long time, like myself, like 10 years or more, including the owner of the company. It's not for us. It's not only about making money. And I'm saying this very honestly. It's not all about, of course, we have to make money to stay in business. And of course, we need money to invest more. But there's a big pride factor involved in it. Because years ago, when we first started in the hobby detectors, we promised people that, we were going to do our best to be one of the leading companies in this industry. And we just feel so proud that I think we achieved it.
And it's fantastic what you've done. And obviously, as I was saying, you are the face. Whenever there's anything, you've done the launch, you do lots of live questionnaires, you do lots of shows like ourselves, and it's to be commended what you do for Nokta Makro. And I'm sure Pete, and Pete, please don't think in any way I'm taking away from you. I know you've done so much yourself in the UK for Nokta Makro. Sure. And again, that's to be commended too.
Thank you for saying, Dave.
You're welcome.
I think one of the key things is keeping your customers and your existing and your prospects informed. So rather than just post a blog on a website with an update, you literally go on social media, Facebook, and do a live stream. And if you can, answer questions. And that is probably quicker and easier for a business to do than sit there typing up a blog, getting it proofread, getting a nice image with it and posting it and hoping that 3% of your customers looks at it. Just going on and doing a live stream is so quick and effective. And it keeps, you honestly, Dilek, every time, I don't go on Facebook much, but every time I go on there, I'll follow your page, Nokta Makro. You're always there talking to someone or answering a question. And it's nice. And it's also not too, how can I put it? It's real. Like you're sitting in the office at work, or now you're sitting on the sofa. It's personal. It's not too corporate. So people in our hobby like talking about detectors, and I think it comes across as more friendly, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. But Adrian, you're absolutely right. First of all, I do like to interact with customers, okay? And I always put myself in their shoes because I'm a consumer for, thousands of products, right? Everybody is a consumer. So this is how I look at it. If somebody is going to spend their hard-earned money on my product, our priority should be able to stand behind that product and support those customers, because those are the people who, took us where we are today. So I always feel like I owe this to our customers. Now, at my level, because maybe people think just because they see me all the time, some people may think that Nokta Makro is a very small company. We're like over 250 people right now. And I am one of the top, directors there. We have only a couple of directors. I'm one of them. So normally at my level, you maybe cannot do this, but this is my preference and this is my choice. First of all, I like it. Second of all, I feel like I owe it to our customers. And third, yes, we're not a very small company, but sometimes that whole corporate structure, corporate, behavior, I think gets in the way. You know what I mean? And I like it better this way.
Do you mind me asking, how many people have you got in your marketing team?
How many people, including the sales? Just marketing, or like I have sales. I have sales, advertising, and operations.
Right.
So sales. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 in sales, 3 in advertising, and a few sales support and operations.
Wow.
I just hired another person, so I don't even know how many I have. Like more than 10, definitely.
I think Pete's got more than that, haven't you, Pete?
No, we're a sleek operation, LP.
Yeah. That's good for the size of company, though, Dilek. It's impressive.
Well, it surprised me because I've been over to the factory. And the time I really noticed it is when we went to the canteen at lunch, and all of these people just appeared, because I'd been down onto the factory floor. I didn't know where they'd all come from. There was hundreds of people just appeared.
I like canteens.
That's right. We literally don't fit in our building anymore. Like, seriously. I'm going to say this. If you walk into our factory right now, it just looks disgusting. Boxes everywhere, people everywhere, packed. So that's why, actually, as of last year, we bought a new building, and we're going to be moving into a very, very nice new building. So the investment, and hopefully by the end of the year, I don't know, maybe beginning of next year, we're going to be moving into our new factory.
How did you actually come to work originally for Nokta Makro, or Nokta or Makro, how it was then?
I had returned from the USA because, I used to live and work in the US, like more than 15 years. I worked and lived in the US. And then I decided to come back to Turkey and, move back to Turkey. So I was here. I was looking for a job, and I asked around, how do you find a job in Turkey? Because all my, working career was in the US before. So, okay, they gave me, here are the websites, like career, site. And they gave me a few links. And then one day on one of these sites, I saw an ad, and they were looking for somebody who has experience in electronics, which I did, but it was consumer electronics, of course, and I applied and I got the job. And when I first got the job, I didn't even realize that I was going to do like sales. I thought it was marketing only, and then I started. I'll be very honest with you. The first couple of weeks, I wasn't sure whether I wanted to stay there or not, because it was a very, very different environment and very different industry, back in the United States, I had worked with very big companies. For example, I was the VP of product development, and I worked with Apple on projects. I worked with Hewlett Packard on projects. I was the director of the Hewlett Packard's, like the whole mobile accessory line, so it was a very different environment. Everything was different. So I wasn't sure. But then, somehow, it was a challenge for me. It was a big challenge for me. And I loved it. And then years passed, and here we are.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. I've got a question, Dave. Is that all right?
You help yourself, young man.
Steve in Hertfordshire, he messaged me. He's just bought the Legend, and he's got a Mac. Is there any potential in the future for Nokta Makro to launch a software update that can be done via a Mac?
But it is on a Mac.
Yeah,
Many people updated it already on a Mac.
He's saying so it
It's
can
on
be
the
done on a
website.
Mac.
It's on the website, so you can have a
That's
Windows
the
or a
sort of
Mac.
people we're dealing with in our hobby. So he needs to go.
I'm sure if you communicate with Pete will be able to help.
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure.
I know some people, whether they're using Windows or Mac, whatever, some people had problems. But believe me, it has nothing to do with our update. There's so many different things that play a role for an update. The type of the window, like Windows 7, 10, 11, that the USB drivers, the antivirus software program you're running. If you have an antivirus program, please disable it before attempting to update it. So there like certain other things which I'm not I don't know all the details too, because I'm not that techy enough on this either. But many people updated it without a problem. On the Facebook groups, the Legends Facebook groups, there's so many people who are ready to help anybody who has an issue, or they can contact us if they're having an issue, and we'll try to help them.
And I'm sure there'll be YouTube videos available for people to give them a step-by-step guide by YouTubers with the Mac as well.
Yeah, it should be. Like Dilek said, I think I've got both Mac, Apple, and PC, and most of the time it's Apple not letting your device connect because they've got ever so hot on security lately. So 9 times out of 10, it's probably your operating system rather than the machine.
We're getting a hell of a lot of questions. I'll say bombarding us because it is bombarding, because I can't keep up in the chat tonight. No. Talk amongst yourselves. If we do spot anything, we can ask. We'll ask as soon as we possibly can. As I say, I've got loads written down. So apologies if we don't get to you tonight, but that's basically down to the amount of questions and communication that is going on tonight. And it's good to see. I think one of our biggest live audiences ever tonight, Adrian.
Yeah,
to be
we've
honest.
got 27 people watching.
27 people.
No.
28.
It's a bit more 28.
28,
no,
29. Pete's just got 20, 30.
Dear. Dilek, I've got a message from... I can't pronounce his name. It's somebody's messaged me, and I think it's an insult, but he said to me, "Are Nokta Makro working on any new machines?" Obviously, you think ahead, but is there a slight inkling of a new machine in the future, in the next year or two? Or are you working on one?
Well, the first thing that's gonna, I'm not gonna say this. I'm not gonna say when or whatever. I'm done with giving dates or any of that.
No.
After what I've been through with the Legend, but we're working on a pinpointer, Bluetooth pinpointer that's gonna work with the Legend. That's number one. Number two, we're working on a pulse induction machine, and from that pulse induction machine, we're probably gonna have a gold machine, for prospecting, and a beach machine. What else? We're gonna have a diving unit, like a full-size diving unit in the future. That's all I can think of right now. There are other things. I mean, on the security side, we're working on things, but nobody would be interested in that, So.
Yeah, it's true though. People forget there is a security side to the business.
On the back of your question, Adrian, I've got one that I think will fit straight in. The Invenio. the 3D machine. Absolutely fascinating. Pete and yourself know how much I just salivated at that machine because, hey, I'm all in the archaeology. Obviously, for those who don't know, it's like a 3D graphics on the box on your chest as well as the machine below. The machine below sends the information to a screen more or less on your chest that gives you the information of what's below the ground in real time. Is there any way that you can see this being put into a normal machine, as we would call a normal machine, in the future?
Yes, actually, that's one of the goals. That's one of our goals. But however, sometimes some projects take priority.
Absolutely.
It's definitely on the list of items that we're going to be working on. But I cannot tell you how soon that can be done.
Oh no! I wouldn't expect a time scale. Obviously, so many things in the pipeline.
It's not an easy task. It's a challenge,
Yeah.
Get it down to a hobby machine and to be able to, like show, let's say, a bottle cap, coin, whatever. You need a, very, very high resolution. So it's challenging, but it's one of the goals. Yeah.
It is my next time Pete's we're at a big event with Pete. I'm going to ask him to bring one along just for me to play with behind the tent for half hour, and I will bring it back. You can put me on a lead. You have my word.
Or you can just carry it around for me, Dave.
Sorry?
You can just carry it around for me.
I'll mince around for you, like as Adrian would say.
Mince around. You put a little cake tray on it, Dave will be fine. Put cake on it.
Now, when you originally showed off the Invenio at Detectable 2018, I think it was now. Lost track of years, I really have. You came out of a hole in the ground with it. Whose idea was that?
Mine.
Yeah, that was all Dilek.
Idea, but I didn't know that I was the one that was going to go in.
No, I remember the conversation, and Dilek originally said it definitely wasn't going to be her. But I think everyone in the factory that you asked said the same thing, didn't they?
Yeah. No way. And then I ended up going underneath there. Oh my God. It was.
Can we expect
all these crazy ideas come from me, that the mermaid,
The mermaid.
I always look forward to our detectable planning conversations because some of the crazy ideas that get bounded around.
And I had a very cool thing planned for the legends because we were originally planning to release it at Detectable, and then the plans changed with the delays and with us not being able to go into UK at the time because of COVID. They wouldn't let the Turkish people in because we were coming from a high risk area. So all the plans had changed. But I will still. I think I told Pete at one event I have to, do what I had planned for the legend for Detective. Maybe
maybe Dave will really like it. That's all I'm going to say.
If it's coming out of a cake, it's definitely coming out of a cake, isn't it? I mean, the mermaid. There was another obviously major manufacturer with a hard launch at Detectable that year with the mermaid, and let's face it, the mermaid blew it out the water.
might have had something to do with the free beer, Dave, that was on the table.
And the partially clad mermaid lady.
Yeah,
who could hold her breath for a stupid amount of time.
Also,
because she was a mermaid.
Cold weather. I don't know if I've ever told you this, Dave, but the tank that she was in, so it's supposed to be heated. And that night, I think the generator cut out the night before. And that water was so cold. But she was a trooper. She jumped straight in there, and she was in there for a good, half an hour?
Yeah, at least.
She was so cold when she got out.
I bet she had goose pimples on her goose pimples.
Yeah.
So you're going to be at Detectable this year, Dilek, fingers crossed.
I miss it.
Yeah.
And I'm sure everyone, as well as us, misses you too.
Yeah. And will you be going to any other events in the UK or just to Textbook?
No, actually, I'm going to the other event. I don't know which one is first.
So it's Rodney Kirk. So Rodney Kirk, the start of September, then you're staying in the UK, aren't you?
Yes, that's the plan.
That was the last conversation.
For a week.
Yeah. Good.
And then
Rodney Kirk, I think that's got about 30 people at Rodney Kirk, hasn't it?
Yeah, something like
I think it's actually got less people going to that than we've got viewers, to be fair, Adrian. And while all these viewers and new viewers are on the show, if you do want to come on as a guest, give us a shout anytime. Dave at BigDetectiveShow.com, Adrian at BigDetectiveShow.com. We will let anyone come on because we've had Rob Random on, so that just says it all, really. Sorry, Rob. But he did bring me cake, so he has sort of like tempted me. But in my defence, I wasn't actually on that night. So it's your fault, Adrian.
No, yes, it was. Just a quick question, Dilek, from someone in the chat, Aaron Mason. And I think the answer is yes, it is capable. Is the hardware in the Legend capable of keeping up with the competitors' multi-frequency in the future? And I think it's not so much the hardware, it's probably the software, because the Legend will evolve and get stronger with software updates, I presume, as time moves on.
I mean, I think it's competitive enough at this point, to be honest with you, because if you look at all the comments and feedbacks from people and the finds that are made already, it's just amazing. But for us, Legend is one device that we're planning to, advance in any way we can. So we're gonna give an update in a couple of weeks. 1 or 2 updates or together. I don't know at this point. Maybe we're going to give one and then another one, because we already promised people that we're going to give a setting that some people are asking for, the item bias setting, which we're not going to call it an item bias, by the way. I just refer to it that way because that's how customers refer to it. So we promised that to our customers, so we're going to give that. We're also going to give an update on the beach. We're going to advance the beach mode as well, and a few other things we're thinking of doing. Yeah, so it's, to be honest with you, it's competitive right now. It's just going to get better.
Well, you did with the Simplex, didn't you? There's loads of updates that came out for the Simplex, so I think we can expect similar, possibly on the Legend.
I think in the second half of the show, after the draw, Adrian, you can fire in some technical questions to Pete and Dilek. Obviously, you've worked with the machine now, and there's a lot of people asking certain questions. And by the way, Ash Unearthed and the Discriminator are both banned from commenting forevermore. Sorry, I'm just banning them. They just, Pete, have a word with your staff. But yes, if you ask some questions later on, technically, I'm sure people would appreciate what answers you can be given. And obviously, I can't comment there because I'm Dave.
Yeah, no, we can leave that. And if people want to ask questions, though, throughout the show, they can. I'm sure there's lots of questions. I think the iron bias, if you really want to know about that, watch Dilek's. I think it was your last video, wasn't it, Dilek, that you explained about that. You can talk about it all day long. Some people love it, some people hate it. It's so hard to please everyone. I think it's worse than designing a car, a metal detector.
I think so.
You got to keep so many people happy, and you only need that one person to say the wrong thing on social media or anything, and people will believe them, or
it's I don't know, social media. I mean, yes, it's great and everything, but sometimes it does so much damage. That's why I always try to tell people, just decide for yourself, because everybody's needs are different. I mean, like, metal detectors are so subjective, you know what I mean? But I mean, we try our best to please the majority. That's the best we can do. Obviously, we cannot, tailor the product to each individual's needs. But if there's anything that the majority asks, we really try our best to give it. You know, like you said, you know, one video starts a whole drama. It's unbelievable.
It can make you or break you, can't it? You just need. I personally am a strong believer that you should go to your local dealer and hold it, touch it, feel it, talk to them, because they're talking to people all day long.
Well, the good thing at the minute is that a whole load of customers in the last 2 weeks have received them. So on organised digs this weekend, there's going to be a good few hundred legends kicking around. And detectorists in the hole are quite friendly, so I'm sure if you pop over and say, can I have a look, they'll be fine with that. And then you can, like Dilek says, form your own judgment.
Yeah. Have a look at your metal detector. Yeah.
Just Dilek, am I right in saying the name the legend? Who's got the toys, Pete? Have you got your robots out?
Yeah, I can hear something.
Not me.
It's not me, is it? Oh, it's the gremlins. It's probably someone hacking in Russia.
Or again, or something.
The name the legend. Am I right in saying you had a competition to name the Simplex, and the legend was one of the names that was put into that, and you felt it suited to this machine?
Say it again. The Simplex? No, I
mean the name the legend. How did the name of the legend come?
Yeah, through a naming
about.
Well, a naming competition.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a specific competition for the legend, wasn't it? So
so it was the one that was you done at Detectable last year when you announced the winner. Is that the one, Pete?
Yeah, it was a couple of years ago now, wasn't it? That was launched because it was pre-COVID. It's really difficult to know what year we're in because COVID kind of took 2 years away. But
you know, the competition was a long time ago, like 3 years ago or something.
I've got a feeling it was at the same one where we done that Invenio presentation.
Exactly.
Which I think was 2018.
Yes, so I actually at Detectable we gave forms out to people to fill out.
Yeah, that's what I'm about, and that's why the Simplex came up with as well.
And then when we came back, you know, we also put that form up on our website for people to fill out. Right. And along with the actually naming and the name suggestions, we also asked people for features and settings that they would like to see in this detector. And there were so many submissions, like 2 huge folders that I had to go through first, do the initial filtering, because there were some crazy suggestions, you know. And then every feature and every like spec or feature that I thought was cool or whatever, I highlighted it and sat down with the engineers. And then, you know, we decided on the features, specs and all that. And then I picked some names. I did the initial filtering that as a team, we picked the name Legend.
I'm glad you never actually chose any of the ones that Adrian come up with, because that could have been a bad decision.
I didn't come up with any, Dilek, but it has always amused me. I work in marketing, and sometimes you see things which really make you smile. And I'd love to have seen some of the entries. I really would. The Big Dave detector or something like that, you know. But yeah, it's interesting, the legend. Some people like it, some people don't like it. But at the end of the day, I think one of the things that's always made me laugh is Rutus, their Alta 71, the brand, they used the font Comic Sans, which loads of people hate. And they were moaning about that. And I'm like, if you are honestly that worried about the name of a detector rather than how it performs, you've got a problem, you know. Legend, the Alta 71, they use Comic Sans font, which is not a nice font, but But yeah, Legend, I think it's a good name. I like it. Some people don't.
Well, I hope that the Nokta Makro Hotspur won't be coming out in the near future anyway.
Will do if I up my way, Dave.
Nokta. Oh God.
Well, we're 4 minutes out from the prize draw where Nokta Makro Dilek have kindly donated to yourselves a Nokta Makro Legend for you to win. Now, we've been running the competition for the past 3 weeks. Great question, Adrian.
Well, it is a great question, and it's something which a lot of people got wrong. Hundreds.
A hell of a lot of people got wrong.
Yeah, we had more people enter this competition than any other competition on the show, and it was quite a simple question, but a lot of people got it wrong. So whether they don't know how to use the internet or radio buttons, but we had well over 1,000 people visit the website. I think, if you got it there, Dave, the competition, or it might have gone. Just so I think I took it off actually.
No, I haven't got the figure now.
No, but
not even on the right page. Now, there it is. There it is.
We can't see it.
I can.
I don't know if you want to share it. It's always nice to get people to visit the website, and but yeah, the competition went well. Well, there was one slight error. It said when you entered the competition, it said we will announce the prize winner on the 17th of March. Obviously, it's not the 17th of March, but Dave gave me the wrong date originally, and I forgot to change it.
No, I didn't give you the wrong date, Luke.
You did.
Yeah, it was me. Fair play.
Yeah, you did, because it was on the YouTube. But yeah, I think it's quite amazing when you give away a detector, the amount of that. We also sent an email out to everyone to remind them this morning, Dave.
Yeah.
Quite hundreds of people had an email this morning. We won't share it in front of anyone else, and the links that people were clicking on, quite a lot of people were clicking back on the Legend Nokta Makro website to look at the machine to find out more. So that was all good stuff. But we're going to draw it very shortly, aren't we?
And thank you very much as well to Relic Radio and Ken King as well for giving us a shout out on the show this week, pointing people towards the big detecting show in the Archaeology and Metal Detecting magazine, America's biggest, and in fact the world's biggest and best metal detecting podcast. Make sure you go there and listen to that. You can find that on Spreaker. Just Google Relics Radio. We're Britain's biggest, and well, we're Britain's biggest anyway.
Yeah. Just sorry, in response to Pomsey, he said that if you entered the wrong, you could enter all 3 questions on the website. Yeah, you could enter them, but you get blocked. So anyone who tried more than once to submit an answer, their question got automatically taken out of the prize draw. So that all the cheats have been eliminated. It might have been a mistake, but hey-ho, that's the way life goes.
Right, so I think I'm going to, and if I do that, I'm leaving the studio. How am I doing now? I forgot what to do. Oh, share, that's right. So I'm just sharing my screen.
David.
What?
What's happening? Is it your foot you're using to control it?
No, everything's groovy.
I feel sorry for Dilek. She must be. Dilek, have you had dinner?
If I had dinner?
Yeah.
No.
Dave, hurry up.
I'm here.
Yeah, but normally I don't have dinner.
Right, so I think what we're going to do first, we're going to do a dry run, aren't we, Adrian? You've sent me the link for the dry run.
Yeah, do 2 on the dry run.
Right. Okay, 2 on a dry run, just to make. This is the test, just to make everything works right. So this is the test, and hopefully the winner will be watching tonight. It's Dave Sadler.
What are the chances of that?
We'll have to try that again. No, just try that again, just to make sure. Well, hopefully it's not going to be Adrian Gaylor. So, it's Dave Sadler.
Yeah, sorry.
Let's stop doing that one and let's do the real one.
Right.
Dilek, we'll let you introduce the draw. I'll press the button and then you can announce the winner. How's that?
I'm just going to say stop.
She's just going to say start. So good luck to everyone tonight. Thanks for entering the competition. And please do consider going out and getting yourself a Legend if you are looking at a new machine. A hell of a lot of good things obviously being said about it. And you're not going to get any personal service in the metal detecting world as well as you'll get from Nokta Makro. So here we go. So the winner of the Nokta Makro Legend is
Dennis Sambon. I don't know how to pronounce the last name. Dennis.
That's correct. Dennis Sambowen.
Sambowen.
Dennis Sambowen. So congratulations to Dennis Sambowen. And Adrian will be at some point in the very near future dropping you an email, and then he will communicate with Dilek and Pete. And there you go. Dilek, Pete, can't thank you enough for that. It's absolutely fantastic. We do appreciate you putting your trust in us enough to offer one of them on the show.
Yep.
Appreciate that very much. Yes, and sorry to everybody in work who asked me could they win it.
Yeah. There's a lot of people who have been interested in getting hold of one. So stock's going to be available when roughly, Pete?
Well, that's one for Dilek, really. I think we're due some more leaving the factory potentially tomorrow, if not, it's beginning of next week. So it takes approximately 2 to 3 weeks to get from Istanbul through customs and to us. So what we now, end of March, I'd say mid-April, we should see more stock hitting the shelves as a rough guide.
So are you doing a waiting list or not?
We don't as LP. So everything that we sell, as soon as it comes in, it goes on the website like any other product and you can buy it. I think there are some dealers doing waiting lists. So if you want to speak to your local dealer, whoever you deal with, we get stock out to them before we sell it as LP. So it all goes on sale at the same time wherever you get it from.
Excellent.
If everyone does their job right. That's the little disclaimer.
Right, Adrian, I'm handing over technological control to yourself because I am inept.
Well, what am I going to... Well,
you wanted to talk about several different things, didn't you?
Well, not really. I've only had it a week.
Well, that's a week more than a lot of people.
What I will say... I think I mentioned it I don't know, did I mention it at the beginning of the show or what in the background when I was talking to Dilek?
When I
initially saw the Legend, it looked a bit plasticky. I'll be honest, I'm totally honest here. And then when I received it, straight away, I think I mentioned earlier about the shaft and the graphite shaft and things. It is a very solid machine, and especially certain areas that break on other detectors, the arm cuff. Dilek, this is a technical question, and you may not be able to answer it. The arm cuff, this arm cup here, what type of plastic does that use? Because that is very strong but very flexible and comfortable. Is it more flexible than the Simplex? Because it feels it.
It's the same arm cup as the Simplex.
Yeah.
Is it? Yeah. It's just that it feels, because I got mind you, that's 2 years old, the Simplex, but it you know, we tread on an arm cup in the field, sometimes they can break. This one here, I don't know, it just looks quite rugged.
I mean, I don't know exactly what kind of plastic is used, but I know for a fact, and from all the meetings, we had internally, we're very big right now. We're focusing really a lot on materials that we're, picking and choosing, because we had our own bad experiences in the past, as a manufacturer, like years ago. So we learned from our mistakes and we're being very cautious, but I couldn't tell you the name, like what type of plastic it is.
Oh, I was going to hope you were going to tell me the polypropylene breakdown, or no, I was joking. The only and when you turn the Legend on, you've got the name of it. Then you've got that LD display.
Loading.
Is that what it stands for? Loading.
Yes.
Right. I thought it was abbreviated for Legend, and I was looking at it and I was desperate to find out what it was.
No.
But if anyone's got
for loading.
Loading, right. Okay.
See, I never thought of that. Legend, yeah.
Well, that's what I thought. I thought LD, Legend. And I thought, oh, yeah, fair enough. But loading.
No, I'm like, duh. I don't know why I never thought of that,
Well, you wouldn't. You're only working marketing, don't you? It's the glass or the plastic on the front of the screen. Is that the same as the Simplex plastic, or is it a Gorilla Glass, or what is it? Is it just normal plastic?
I think it's the same as Simplex.
Yeah, it is the same. It is the same.
It is the same. It is the same. And you can get covers now, can't you, as well online?
I think why you may think that it's different is the fact that this LCD, the LCD itself, looks very sharp.
That's what I was going to get onto next. It looks a lot more crisper and higher definition.
Why?
Than
Because this is a custom LCD. Simplex LCD is not a custom LCD.
Really? Okay. Yeah. That's interesting. Okay. Yeah. Has anyone got any questions in the chat about it?
We do have one question in the chat that I've just spotted, and it was: are the softer buttons on the controller the same as the Simplex, or are they a higher button?
They are lovely. They are lovely.
Very, very easy to press.
Yeah. They're a lot easier, less pressure than the Simplex. And last night I navigated it in the dark because I'm an idiot. And I could quite easily change the programs. You can learn it really quickly. It's a bit like if you can touch type on a computer keyboard without looking at the keys, you can do it on the Legend. But it's a very nice, very, very nice feeling. I like the click when you press the button.
Yeah.
So it's very, very nice. And I've just turned it on now. Look, there's the LD. Oh, you can't see it. Oh, LD.
Oh, there it is.
Legend. And I very much like the tones as well.
How many hours usage are you showing on it, Adrian, so far?
Well, when I got it, it had 120 hours on it.
Okay.
No, it didn't really. You have got the usage on there, Pete, and I think that's going to be really interesting going forward. Especially like myself.
Second-hand market.
When people field test detectors.
Yeah.
So when I have a metal detector and I field test it for Treasure Hunting magazine, I will take it out for a minimum of 3 months, and that is at least every weekend. And having a clock on it, I will very much look forward to, after 2 or 3 months, or probably I'll do one of the first one, showing people how much time I've had in the field, because I quite like that, and also the battery life. But these people who do reviews, who say it's a load of rubbish or it's fantastic and it's got like 1 hour's use, they should. It's almost like a trophy, isn't it? In 2 or 3 years from now, Nokta Makro could actually award someone for the most use of a Legend. But Dilek, they could just turn it on, go to bed, and then get up in the morning, turn it off.
Yeah.
But you could have the longest Legend. So I don't know, the most hours knocked up or something like that.
I like that.
Yeah, I like it as well because it will help when people sell them. Hardly used metal detector. Yeah, it's got 948 hours. Yeah. How many? What does the clock go up to, Dilek?
What's that?
Hours. How many hours can the Legend read on the display? 1,000 hours? 10,000 hours? Do you know?
Well, no, you mean like usage time?
Yeah.
No, after the hours, it goes into days, weeks. Yeah.
And what's the maximum? Do you know?
Years.
Yeah.
So I don't know. 99.
Yeah, 99 years.
Wow. So, that's pretty.
So
cool.
So it's years, months, weeks, and days, I believe, if I'm not wrong. You can check it. You have the machine. I don't have the machine right next to me.
Yeah,
but so I would imagine it would be 99 years, right?
Let's hope we don't have the millennium bug again, because we will.
Adrian, we do have a question for you.
Yes.
Do you have makeup on? Moving on.
I've got a wig on, but I haven't got makeup on. Got a question from Paul B. Good question. Is there a noise? No, there isn't a noise cancellation button like the
There is.
Yeah. Where is it? I haven't found it yet. I don't read the instructions yet. Can I just say that was one of the best features on the Simplex? The noise, the turn off button.
Oh, the mute, do you mean?
Yeah, mute.
You mean
button.
mute or noise cancel?
I think
noise cancellation is something else and mute is something else.
he means mute, I think, because he's put when using the pinpointer.
You know what? This is actually very interesting. You know why? That mute function was added to the simplex just because of the interference, it was having with the Nokta pointer. So that was the solution we had come up with. But very interestingly now, I'm getting so many messages and emails from people saying, oh, please put a mute function on the legend. Very interesting. But the legend doesn't really interfere with any pinpointer. And it has its own, like shift and whatever. But people still want that function. Very interesting.
I've used 3 pinpointers with it, and there's not been a slight problem when the coils, but nothing major. The simplex was a bit noisy with different pinpointers, but I've not had any issues with it so far yet. But that was one of the best features I found on the simplex. That mute button, really, really good.
Okay, so maybe we'll do that on the legend as an update.
Yeah, I just think if you don't have the pinpoint interference, why would you use the mute? Because you've detected for a while, Adrian. How many times do you want to just wave a handful of soil over the coil rather than pinpoint in, but then you can't because the machine's on mute? And I don't know.
Yeah, to be honest, Pete, there's only one pinpointer out there, and I won't say the brand, that causes problems with more machines than any other. But no, it's not a big problem. But it is actually a downside as well, because quite often with the simplex, when I've been detecting, I've forgotten to turn the mute off. Yeah. So you carry on detecting, and then you're like, oh. So yeah, but it's such a simple feature to add, and it worked quite well. What was the other question someone said in the chat? Mute volume, interference, Staffordshire searcher. What about phone interference? I always turn my phone off, but I left it on, and I didn't have any problems at all with the Legend.
And I'm always in the field on my phone, and I haven't had any interference. And that's usually when you find it, when you're chatting on the phone or.
I think Dilek. Sorry, Pete. When you do the testing on your detectors, and I don't mean testing in-house for depth, sensitivity, tones. I'm talking about EMC testing and alike. You understand? EMC testing, electromagnetic. You have to pass certain European standards, so it doesn't interfere with Wi-Fi, Bluetooth. And I think the majority of detectors today, if you don't pass that EMC test, where it interferes with phones, it just won't get to market. So any machines
you need those tests done for the CE certification.
Yes. EMC, electromagnetic. Someone will say in the chat.
I think it stands for compatibility.
Yes. And it's more and more important now with the amount of Wi-Fi and Bluetooth devices we got. Paul Tung, can you adjust the multi-frequency, say 12, 14, 8, 15? Can you adjust the multi-frequency? You can adjust.
Adrian, I know what he means by this, and this is probably as a dealer, and not just Legend, but
I know what he's saying.
Yeah. So they've got a misconception that. So the machine's got the selectable frequencies. Multi-frequency is completely different to that. So it's not running those specific frequencies together. So it's a different frequency set. So people often ask, is there a way of just running, say, 4 and 18 kilohertz together? And that's not how the multi works. So it's a separate frequency set, which don't ask Dilek what they are, because you won't tell us. But
no, exactly.
So it's not, it doesn't work in the way you would think it works, that those are your selectables. So that's also the multi-frequencies being used. They're two very different things.
Yeah.
It's a good point, actually, Pete, because we've actually gone on about the Legend, but we've actually skipped one of the most important development features that Nokta Makro's done in recent years, and that is multi-frequency. It was only a couple of years back that there was only one certain company that could offer that, and Nokta have introduced it themselves. So I think we've forgotten about that, and that is one of the key features of the Legend being
Well, apart from
machine.
the clock, really, it's the key feature.
Yes. The clock comes into it very much so. But
I think for Nokta Makro, it is a big technological advancement in the detecting technology that's in their range of machines. So we've gone from Amphibio Multi and Multi Cruiser that have got the selectables to now a full simultaneous.
And this can be spread across the whole range in theory, in time. Yeah, we could even see a simplex multi-frequency in the future. You just don't know, do you?
Who knows?
Who knows? And I know you can't explain it too much in detail because it is witchcraft and it is very, very complicated technology.
Adrian, can when we're off air, can you talk to me about it, please?
I could talk to you all day about it, Dave, because there's
can you compile it to about 3 minutes?
We could, but it is something which is very, very complicated, and multi-frequency is open to a lot of interference standard compared to VLF. So for the engineers, it is very, very complicated. And we said about mobile phones, that is a prime example. It can cause huge problems with multi-frequency, whereas VLF, it's not such a big issue. And talking of VLF, we keep going on about multi-frequency, but Nokta Makro, VLF is not dead, and it's still got its benefits, hasn't it?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, listen, that's why, I mean, for many years, like for a few years now, we've been saying that multi-frequency is not going to obsolete single frequency detectors. We, never believed in that. And when you look at the number of simplexes we're selling today, I think we were right about that. And single frequencies will hold their place. That's why even in a simultaneous multi-frequency detector, you offer single frequencies, because there will always be scenarios where you will need that single frequency. You will need the advantage of a single frequency. And to be honest with you, I mean, I was asked this question the other day, why do we need simultaneous multi-frequency? And my answer was, you don't need it. Not everybody must have a simultaneous multi-frequency detector. One can definitely be happy with a single frequency detector. It has its advantages. That's why we came out with one, because customers, have been asking for it. But does that mean that it's a magic wand? No, it's not. Sometimes it has also its own disadvantages. You know what I mean? So I think VLF detectors, single frequency detectors, will hold their place, for still a long time, I would guess.
I think for me, the analogy is a manual car and an automatic car. They'll both get you to the same place, but do it differently. And depending on how you drive it, you will get different results. So that's how I look at multi-frequency and VLF. So it's interesting. But I still toggle between the two. There's certain conditions that VLF single frequency will work better. So interesting. Sorry, waffling on about that. Crikey. Sorry. Dave, have you got a question? Because apart from your bad foot you hurt at work, you've been quite quiet tonight. Sorry.
Adrian, when it comes to talking about metal detectors, it's your forte. I'm the I just sit here and look. I'd say pretty, but I just sit here.
I'll tell you what, with one thing I did think, with the battery bit on the Legend, you could 3D print, or Nokta Makro could design a drinks bottle that could hold a can of beer, but also hold a box for cakes and sweets and candy and stuff, Dave, for you.
But then what would you put in your fines pouch?
Well, Dave wouldn't find
Wrappers.
Crisp packets and chip bags. But but no, it's true that little connector block on the back, I can see a lot of people developing things in the years going forward, 3D printers and stuff to connect stuff. I personally like a bottle of red wine at the back of it with a straw.
I'm actually surprised that I haven't seen more of that done for the Simplex, actually.
Yeah, because it's true.
It's the same
Actually,
space,
yes.
and everyone always wondered why that space was there.
Yeah.
But nothing was ever really done with it.
Yeah, because there's a lot of people saying, "Oh, pinpointer holder and battery holder."
Yeah, and I did actually saw a few people putting their pinpointers in there.
Yeah. Actually, someone now is sitting there doing a CAD drawing of a cake holder.
What type of cake, though?
Sorry,
lots
Dave.
of different types of cake. So,
Facebook user, does it vibrate as my cruiser was brilliant in water? Yes, it does vibrate up to 5, I think, Dilek. 5 vibration modes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, levels.
Levels. Sorry,
Yeah.
levels. Yeah, 5 levels.
Yeah.
Very easily adjustable.
Yes, it does vibrate. It has the LED, just like the Simplex flashlight, LED flashlight for night hunts. So we kept, like everything that we offered on the Simplex, because it was easy for us to do. Yeah, it does vibrate.
And
I do have a question in the chat. How is the Legend currently going with Coke, Pete? Do you know about that?
To be honest, I haven't taken it onto a field that's been full of Coke. I haven't found any, but I don't know whether that's because it wasn't there or it's really good at not finding it. But Dilek, you'll know better than I. It should be auto notched out now, shouldn't it? Especially with the update.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to have issues with Coke because the engineers specifically, I think, worked on that. And I believe I saw a video. I don't know who put it out. I didn't watch it. I just saw the title. So I hope the title is not misleading, but it said no more Coke, something to that extent.
What sort of videos you watching, Dilek?
What's that?
What sort of videos are you watching? Yeah, sorry.
So, yeah, but the Coke, I think after the testing, the initial testing stage, that was one of the areas where my engineers worked on. So I believe it's going to be fine with Coke, but I cannot tell you 100% sure because I'm looking for feedbacks from end users myself. On my end, it's done. But like I said, I'm going to watch that video. I just saw the title, but I didn't watch it yet.
It's always a tough one, isn't it? Coke. I'm going on my permission this weekend that's got Coke on it, so I'll see how the Legend does. But
okay.
It's always an awkward one because there can be good signals from the same reading as Coke. So
I think
I don't.
Been the danger because when you get rid of Coke, like you say, Adrian, you've got the potential of getting rid of something else that you don't want to be losing. It's always been the same with like gold necklaces on beaches that various notching out can get rid of other things that you really don't want to be losing.
I'd rather dig a piece of Coke and go, oh dear, than a ring pull or a bottle cap or something. But if you're digging Coke as well, potentially, in my area, there's history on the land, so it's old Coke is a good sign.
Did you notice the product placement when we were talking about Coke then, by the way?
Pepsi Max, yeah. Dilek, you haven't had a drink, have you, all evening?
No.
Hasn't eaten, hasn't drunk, just lives, breathes, Nokta Makro.
Hardcore.
Proper hardcore. Yeah.
No. Actually, you know what? Just before the show, I had my drink. So.
Full fat Coke, lovely.
Right. Well, listen, we've got a final few minutes to go before we end the show. So, if there's any last minute questions, please.
Oh, I want to say something. Actually, I was I was planning to mention this in one of my in one of the future live videos because this is one question I'm getting. So I want to, in case people have this question in their minds, maybe they didn't ask it in the chat, but I want to mention this. Many people are asking, how do I reset the machine? Okay, I think, many people are actually talking about going back to the factory defaults. Okay, and now I also see others responding to these people and saying, oh, just hold the power button for 30 seconds. Now I want to clarify this. In the manual, we do talk about a reset, but that's for if in any case the device becomes unresponsive. How sometimes your phone would freeze, something to that extent. When there's a system error, we do tell people to reset it by pressing the power button for 30 seconds. That's not to go back to factory default. If anybody wants to go back to factory default, you simply delete the user profile, and it takes that user profile back to the factory defaults. And if you have 4 user profiles, set up, you can just delete them all and then go back to factory defaults. So we don't have just like a push of a button going back to factory defaults. We didn't want to do that. We wanted to keep it separate for each user profile in case, people don't want to reset everything. They want to keep one. You know what I'm trying to say, right? So I wanted to clarify this because I see people writing on groups, oh, hold the power button for 30 seconds. No, don't do that, please. That's not to go back to factory defaults.
Yeah, thanks for that, Dilek. That's very informative. Yeah, that's interesting, actually. Is there 4 user settings or 5?
Yes, but actually, you can do that for each mode. So actually, you can set up a total of 16 different profiles if you think about it. You know what I mean, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. Sorry, Dave. Going all technical.
What are you apologising to me for?
Did you understand that question?
Yeah.
Oh dear. Anyway, has anyone else got? Oh, can you make a coil with higher frequency? That's a interesting question. Can you make a coil with a higher frequency, 40 to 80 or 100 hertz, for gold prospecting to the legend in the future?
I don't know. No. If it's doable. I don't know if I mean, to make the coil is not the problem. To make the coil work with the legend is the part. I don't know if that would require just a software or, if any other hardware changes would be needed. That I cannot answer. Too technical. But this question came from 1 or 2 people, so it's in my notes. But let's get the legend out to everybody. Yeah. Okay, and let's give some updates, and then we'll work on like all the other stuff, because right now we already have 2 updates lined up, and so we want to give it some time, and then you really monitor all the feedbacks and comments and what else everybody is requesting or what else people need. We'll try to give what we can.
Yeah, we are very, very early days on this machine, aren't we? So we're already talking about things. But going back to coils, there is a little bit of talk on a new coil. Am I right?
Yes. So right now we have 3 coils for the legend. As of course the 11-inch standard coil, the 6-inch small coil that's included in the Pro Packs, or that can be ordered separately. We also have a larger coil available, 13-inch coil for the legend, which we didn't start shipping yet, but we will soon. And we're also working on 3 optional coils. Now, one of them is a 9.5 by 5.5, okay, elliptical coil. It's going to be called the LG24, like this SP24 for the simplex. We're working on a 9-inch round coil, and we're also working on a 12 by 9-inch elliptical coil, okay? These 3 were picked based on a poll that was put out there on one of the, biggest legend groups on Facebook. And of course, not based only on that, but with my conversations with customers, dealers, and all that. So we're working on 3, but whether we're going to launch all 3 or 2 or 1 or whatever, I don't know at this point. First, we're going to, make them, test them. If they all test fine and no issues, then we can release all of them.
Oh, interesting. Brilliant.
It's very interesting. Well, that is our time up for this evening. Dilek, Pete, it's been absolutely fantastic having you on the show. Can't thank you enough again, Dilek, for offering the legend as a prize tonight, and well done again to Dennis Sam Bowen on winning that. You'll be getting an email via thebigdetectiveshow.com in the next day. Next hour. To follow up on the legend, obviously go to noktadetectors.com or lpmetaldetecting.com, and obviously you'll be able to find all the information on there. Yep. I've got 2 other little notices that I forgot to do at the start of the night. Detecticon 2022 tickets are now on sale. Visit northoftyredetecting.com. And while we've been on the show, Adrian, because I've been looking, because I'm like that, Detectable tickets have gone on. The new website looks to be up and running, and Detectable tickets are available at detectable.com for second weekend in September. So pop on over to there to have a look for your tickets for those of you who want to go to Detectable. Anything else, Dilek, you'd like to add before we go?
No, not really. Thanks for having me on your show once again. It was a pleasure.
The pleasure's ours.
Yeah, thank you. And see you hopefully at Detectable.
You certainly will. Obviously, good luck with the legend and everything that comes with it.
Thank you so much. And I also want to thank all the listeners, whoever is in the chat. Nokta Makro loves you guys. Thank you so much. And have legendary hunts.
Huzzah. Peter, anything for you to add before? Yeah,
what's that?
Well, keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Make sure you get some sleep, because I'm worried. You've worked a long day.
And Pete has. And thank you to Pete for coming on as ever and joining us.
You're
and keep up
welcome.
your good work, Mr. Tyrrell, because I'm sure you're backs to the wall with the legend at the moment.
Yeah, we just need more of them, Dilek, but that's out of my control. But no, thanks for having me. It's been a pleasure, as always. And
pleasure's
hopefully
ours.
see you in a field somewhere at some point, detecting
You're
related.
more likely to see him than me because you're all south of the Watford Gap.
There you go.
Right, thanks everybody. Thanks Pete. Thanks Dilek. Next week, don't forget to join us. Thank you very much. Don't forget to join us at 8 p.m. next week. We'll be joined by Mr. Chris Rogers. And he's going to be talking about, another machine or a range of machines next week. So we look forward to seeing him at 8 p.m. next week. So thank you, one and all. To Pete, to Dilek, to Adrian, to Luke, to everybody in the chat room. Thank you all very much, and well done to Dennis Sam Bowen. I had to look again then.
Yeah.
Good night, everyone.
Night, everyone. Thanks for watching.
Bye, guys.
Thanks, Dilek. Bye, Pete.